Hello, everybody. Welcome to this convention prep episode of Beware the Board, a horror podcast where we watch a randomly selected horror movie every single week. I'm Bob.
And I'm Ben.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, Bob. How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
Oh, that's good. You
Yeah.
ready to be done with convention prep? Because I am.
Are we done? This is the last one?
This is the last one.
Oh, Pog.
Because you said we couldn't release anything after the convention, and the convention ends.
Well, this will come out the Wednesday before the convention.
Yeah, and the convention starts Friday.
Yep.
So, last
So,
one.
yeah, I guess this is the last one. That's pretty cool.
5 is a lot better than like 21 plus 12 Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot more manageable.
A lot more manageable, but we are recording these like down to the wire.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're recording this basically at the start of the week it's supposed to come out.
We did not plan this well.
No, and we're only getting them all out because I decided to double up on weeks and release them 2 a week, which has been absolutely hellish for editing because some of those episodes are really long.
But what else is new?
Nothing.
Nothing. This is old hat at this point.
Absolutely nothing.
With that being said, we're watching Final Destination. It's a
Woo!
fun movie. I like Final Destination.
I was about to say, I don't know anything about these movies other than the kills are insane and you like them.
Yeah, it's just a fun movie. Like, if you like gore and stuff, it's just a fun,
Yeah.
turn your brain off and watch people die in funny ways kind of thing.
Yeah, I've seen one of them or parts of one of them, but I don't
It's
know
Final
which one it is.
Destination 2, right?
I don't know.
Was
don't
there
remember.
logs involved?
No, but I do know what
Oh,
you're
it's the
talking
roller
about.
coaster?
Nope. Suntan thing.
That is 3.
That's 3? Okay. I didn't know. I walked through as my cousins were watching, and I said, this is
I
horrific.
believe that's 3.
I never want to watch this movie ever.
Yeah.
And now I do this podcast,
Now you do this podcast.
and I'm excited about watching people die horribly.
Okay, well, Final Destination came out in 2000, so it's
Whoa.
a little bit before the whole torture porn movement,
That's cool.
but I think it's often kind of lumped in with that,
It makes sense.
just because it's like, let me throw very graphic kills like in the forefront of the story,
Yeah.
in the same way like the later Saw movies do, which are, I think, the big kind of creator of that subgenre.
Dude, I was on Twitter. This is a small aside. And I saw a clip from one of the Saw films, and I almost lost my mind. I don't want to watch those movies now, Ben.
Why? Because of spoilers?
No, because it was horrific.
They're not that bad.
The clip that I saw was truly horrific. Like, I do not want to watch those movies now.
I say they're not that bad. I'm so desensitized to stuff.
Yeah, so true.
We went out to we went out to a bar with your girlfriend last Sunday, and we were watching Slither there because they do movie showings. And I think at one point your girlfriend asked me like, "Hey, what was the last movie to disturb you?" And I was like, "I don't know.
She asked me that question again. She's like, do you think Ben gets scared of things anymore? I said, I don't think so.
I don't think so."
And on the car ride home, she said, how do you guys watch this stuff? I said, I don't know. It's fine. She says, I don't think you're okay. And I was like, thank you for that.
I laugh at a lot of them.
I do too. Also, like, I knew she has a problem with gore going in, and I was like, Slither will be okay. I was wrong.
She was mad at Bob, but
She was mega mad at me on the car
she
ride
was
home.
a trooper. She held it together, like
didn't
in
throw up.
public.
She also, I will admit, was like covering her eyes and looking at her phone because she was just like grossed out.
That's fair.
And I was like, you know what? That's okay.
I was surprised when you said she was coming.
Well, I just didn't think about it. Your roommate held it together too, though, even though he said it was gross. I didn't know how much.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, see, I didn't know how bad he was.
We watched
left at
Cannibal
that stuff.
Holocaust together.
So true. Oh my god, when my girlfriend was like, "Would you ever make me watch Cannibal Holocaust?" I said, "No,
I said no, too.
absolutely not. I would never put you through that.
I don't expose people I like to that movie.
No, absolutely not."
That's
Well,
why I showed it to Bob.
I was gonna say you showed it to your roommate, dog. Come on.
All right, well, getting back into Final Destination. Description: Death will have his due.
Okay, that seems rather. It's a movie
Foreboding?
about kill people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Length, it's an hour and 38 minutes long.
the normal length movie.
So it's a normal length movie, which
Thank
is
God.
great because so far on season 11,
It's been long ass films.
it's been 2-hour films. It's rated R.
Oh, good.
IMDb gave it a 6.7 out of 10. Tomato Meter gave it a 37%.
Oh, that's really bad.
And an audience score of 68%.
That's better.
Look, I never said it was like critically amazing.
Okay, that's
I just
fair.
said it's fun.
Sure.
That's kind of the whole thing with this franchise. Awards: 3 wins and 5 nominations.
Hell yeah.
Notable actors: Devon Sawa. You should be familiar with that guy. He's playing Alex Browning. He was a big actor in like the early
Heard his name.
2000s.
And I know he's tied to this film, but I don't know anything else he's been in.
Another kind of horror film he was in was Idle Hands as Anton Tobias. That's like a fun stoner movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Put that up there with like, I don't know, Killer Bong. That could be a stoner movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's called Attack of the Killer Bong Ben. It must be a stoner movie.
Yeah. Not sure what qualifies as a stoner movie in general, but anything with a bong in it,
It gets there.
it gets there. Allie Larder as Clear Rivers. She played Brooke Taylor Windham in Legally Blonde.
I was about to say, I know that name, and that's why I know that name.
You know, from the musical Legally Blonde.
It's good.
It's also a movie. I'm not sure if you knew that.
No, I know. I like the musical more.
That was a joke. That was sarcasm
No, yeah.
because you haven't seen Legally Blonde the movie,
But I've seen the musical.
but you've seen the musical. Kerr Smith as Carter Horton. He played Axel Palmer in My Bloody Valentine 3D.
I fucking hate that look. Okay, I hate these remakes. I hate them
Why?
because they're never any good. They're never great. The original is always better.
I mean, that's fair.
But also, you troll the shit out of me by going My Bloody Valentine 3D, and then I go, okay, well now I don't know who the fuck you're talking about.
Hey, I added 3D. Technically, the real title is just My Bloody Valentine.
Also hate that.
So you should be nice to me. I keep it covered so you don't get confused. I wasn't gonna let you get super excited.
Yeah, you're right.
Kristen Cloak as Valerie Luden. She played Leigh Colvin in Black Christmas, the remake.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
Okay, but also context clues, Bob. Both those movies came out like 20 years before this one.
I know, but these could be old people.
They're not.
I know.
They're teenagers.
I
'Cause
know.
It's a teenager movie. Context clues. You should just
I'm not good
assume.
at context clues, dog.
That's fair. Daniel Roebuck as Agent Ween?
Not Ween.
Wine?
Wine is okay.
I think it's Ween.
That's
It's Weine. He played Bill Jankowski in Getting Grace. Roger Guinevere Smith as Agent Shrek.
okay. No, this is out of hand.
He played Austin Jacoby in Dope. Chad Danella as Todd Wagner. He was Jordan Moore in Knox Goes Away. Sean William Scott as Billy Hitchcock. You know that guy, right?
No,
Well, he was Stifler in American Pie.
I haven't seen that movie. We've talked about this.
Okay, you might know his face, though.
Okay.
Because he was also like a really big actor in the early 2000s in a lot of those American Pie and American Pie related films.
I have seen that man. Wait, hold on. What else is he in?
He's in a bunch of stuff. There's probably something you know.
I was
him
about to say
from,
that face looks really familiar.
but I never know what movies you have seen.
True. That's fair. I don't watch a lot of movies outside the podcast.
I don't know. Moving on. Tony Todd as William Bloodworth.
That's awesome.
You might not know this, but he played the Candyman in Candyman.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's not why I know him.
That's not how you know him?
No.
Since we haven't seen that movie yet?
Yeah, he's what is his name in Hatchet? What is I can't remember his name. Oh my god. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about.
The dude with the boat.
With his haunted swamp tour.
Yeah.
Amanda Detmer as Terry Cheney. She was Monty Kirkham in Big Fat Liar. Brendan Furr as George Wagner. He was Michael Gurin from Roswell. He was on 61 episodes between 1999 and 2002. Forbes Angus as Larry Murnau. He was Kruper in Agent Cody Banks, the movie.
Oh, I saw that movie as a kid.
Yeah, it was on Disney Channel.
Yep.
2003.
Damn.
Older than you expected. You were 3 years old.
Yeah.
Lisa Marie Carrick as Krista Marsh. She was Ken's girlfriend in Snakes on a Plane.
Oh, I haven't seen Snakes on a Plane, but I want to.
So the premise of that movie is there's snakes on the motherfucking plane.
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
aware
know
of that.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Christine Chantlane as Blake Dreyer. She played Andy in 40 Days and 40 Nights. Barbara Tyson as Barbara Browning. She played Battle in Seattle. Robert Wisden as Ken Browning. He played Richard Nixon in Watchmen.
Whoa. That's cool.
And then P. Lynn Johnson as Mrs. Wagner. She was Sharon Egan in The Invincible. Director, James Wong.
Yep.
I think you should know that by now.
I knew that one. Yeah.
Did you know he directed one of your favorite movies? You're going to get mad at me for saying that. Dragon Ball Evolution.
The live action Dragon Ball film was James. I did not know that.
I did not know that before doing this.
But can I be honest?
You like that movie?
I don't hate it.
I know you like garbage.
I know it's bad, and I understand that it's bad. I get it. I totally get it. But it is pretty cool.
The second you didn't get mad when I said Dragon Ball Evolution, I knew. I knew Bob liked it.
I don't like it, but I don't hate it. I think it's cool.
That's shameful.
That's
It's
fine.
so bad.
It is bad. You're right. I'm admitting that it's bad. Okay? There's not been a good piece of Dragon Ball content in fucking years. I think the last thing that was good was well, actually, that's not true. The Dragon Ball superhero movie was pretty sweet. That was a good movie. I saw that in theaters when it came out. And then I hope this new show, Daima's good too. It's the last thing that Akira Toriyama worked on before he died. So I'm hoping it's at least good.
We'll see.
We'll see. I like Dragon Ball a lot, though.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I thought you hated it.
Well, I hate some parts of it. Like GT. GT fucking sucks. And the super anime. At least the first bit is bad. The animation's awful. I could talk about this for hours. This is not the place to be doing this.
I never watched Dragon Ball, so this is all just going in one ear and out
Are you
the other.
serious?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Watch watch original Dragon Ball. It's really good.
I have other stuff I have to watch.
I don't care. Watch original Dragon Ball. It's really good.
Thanks, Bob. I really appreciate your caring attitude.
Yeah.
All right, writers. We have Glenn Morgan. He wrote on the X-Files. He
That's
did
pretty cool.
17 episodes between 1993 and 2018. Because, it had the whole
Mm-hmm.
resurgence kind of thing. James Wong's another writer. He also wrote for the X-Files. 17 episodes as well between 1993 and 2018. And then final one is Jeffrey Reddick. He is responsible for writing Day of the Dead from 2008. You didn't get as excited that time.
No, because I knew that you were trolling me again.
I'm not trolling you. That's just what these people are associated with.
Yeah, whatever.
Budget's estimated at $23 million.
That's a lot of money.
With a box office turnout of $112.8 million.
Hell yeah, dude.
So pretty decent.
Movie made a lot of money. That's sweet.
Came out in the United States. That's the country of origin. And the working title was Flight 180.
What the fuck?
It makes sense. You'll get it eventually. Tagline: no accidents, no coincidences, no escapes. You can't cheat death.
Okay.
Imagine I read that dramatically.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty okay. Getting into fun facts, this film is actually Wong's film debut,
Oh, that's
Or
really
his-
cool.
directorial film debut. So that's pretty cool. Kind of his first time stepping into the big leagues.
Yeah, and he's done a lot of stuff since this.
Yes, he has.
And he's tied to a lot of really, really big things now.
Yeah, he's more tied to stuff than I think he ever directed stuff.
Yeah.
But he is a very famous name nowadays. In either case, you noticed the whole X-Files thing, right?
Yeah.
That's because, first of all, I want to start this by saying that the film began as an idea that Reddick came up with while he was flying home to Kentucky, weirdly enough.
Oh, that's cool.
So apparently he lived there at the time.
Did it say where? Just asking. Like, where specifically?
No.
Just the state?
I read Kentucky and I was like, ooh, let me write that down. If you don't know, that's where we are right now.
Yeah.
But basically, he got the idea and essentially wrote it into a spec script for an episode of The X-Files
Oh, that's cool.
because Reddick basically didn't have an agent at the time and he was trying to get one. So the original script for this was one episode of The X-Files, not a full movie.
That's like 40 minutes. Like, that's like...
Yeah, pretty short.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a simple concept that you pad with, like, effects. Do you know the concept of this movie?
No.
Oh, well, you'll see eventually. In either case, a colleague of his at New Line Cinema eventually persuaded Reddick to write it into a feature-length film, which was later picked up by Wong and Morgan, who were X-Files writing partners. And they basically decided to film it themselves so
That's
they could do
cool.
a movie. They rewrote the script, and we got this movie. So that's pretty cool. In either case, filming took place in New York City. From what I could find, it was specifically Long Island, as well as Vancouver.
That's expensive as fuck.
Well, that's why a lot of it shot Canada, so
I was
Vancouver.
about to say. As we learned from Jason Takes Manhattan, shooting in New York is expensive.
Yeah, they only took a couple of shots in Long Island. A lot of it was shot in Vancouver, and I think it's specifically Vancouver Island. And they did additional scenes in Toronto and San Francisco. It should also be noted that for the airport scene, which is in this movie, if you couldn't guess from that working title of Flight 180,
Yeah.
and how Reddick came up with the idea, those were done at the Vancouver International Airport as a stand-in for the John F. Kennedy International Airport, which is
Oh,
the one
okay.
mentioned in the film. As for acting choices on this film, from what I could find, the cast we ended up with wasn't exactly the original intended cast.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, that's always the case.
Sure.
The only reason I bring it up now is that Reddick apparently originally envisioned Tobey Maguire
Whoa!
and Kirsten Dunst for the lead roles,
What a very different film, I think.
which is a very different timeline that I think is very funny.
It is very funny. Because what? This is around the time of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, too.
Yep.
Or, like, just before them, maybe?
I think it's just before them.
Yeah, because I think the first one came out in the early 2000s. But this is the year 2000. So I don't know when that film came out. But that's such an interesting, like...
2002.
Yeah, that's such an interesting thing. Like, if he had done this right before that, would he have done Spider-Man?
Probably.
I mean, it's Spider-Man, probably. But
But
you
Sam
know.
Raimi was also like a horror guy. So
True.
It wouldn't
So true.
turn him off.
That's cool. That's a fun little thing.
I think they eventually ended up getting, I know specifically, Devon Sawa because of how he did in Idle Hands.
Oh, that's cool.
Because that's like kind of a horror comedy film. It's a lot of fun.
We should watch it at some point.
You'd really like it.
Oh, we should pitch stoner comedies. Like
That's why I'm
stoner
bringing
horror
this up,
movies.
is I'm
Yeah.
giving you
That's a
category
good
suggestions.
category idea, Ben. Thank you.
Kind of going into how characters got their names. Again, this is a pretty classic thing, but a lot of the characters are named after famous horror icons.
Oh,
I don't think you picked up on any of that.
no.
Well, one of the characters, Billy Hitchcock.
Oh, I got that. I
Named
thought
after
about
Alfred
Alfred
Hitchcock.
Hitchcock. Yeah, when you were saying
There's a
that.
couple of them, but that's the most obvious one. And then, the big thing for this franchise is it's got a lot of kills in it, right? So, things to note, all the death scenes were filmed using life casts of the actual actors.
Whoa, that's sweet.
So, you know what life casts are?
Yeah.
That like 3D models that are really good
Mhm.
looking. Yeah, and then they destroyed them.
That's.
So that's kind of cool.
Oh wait. Oh god. Ah.
So I think the deaths in this franchise, at least in the early movies, look really good before
Oh.
they go
Off
into
the rails.
egregious CGI and off the rails. So we'll see how you handle it. I can get you the bucket in the other room if we need
Well,
it.
there's a bag right there. Little barf bag.
I'm gonna throw that away, so I can get you the bucket.
The bucket.
The bucket. But as you already know, this film spawned a franchise featuring 5 additional movies, one of which is yet to be released.
Oh,
we
yeah.
just looked it up.
The 6th one,
Title is what? Final Destination Bloodlines, I think is the current working title.
which is enraging, by the way. Just very upsetting.
It reminds him of Day of the Dead Bloodline.
Which fucking sucks.
But in addition to those movies, there's also a series of novels apparently and comic books.
Whoa, that's cool.
So that's
Oh,
pretty
I would love to read
interesting.
a comic books version of this with some like just egregious like scenes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
With that being said, that's all I have for now. I have one fact for after the movie, so if you
Ooh.
remind me,
I'll try to remember, but I'm
I can do it.
forgetful.
Or I might tell you the fact during the movie.
Either way.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah. We'll see you guys after the movie. Hi everybody, welcome back. We just finished watching Final Destination.
Yep.
From the year 2000. I don't know if I need to be specific.
I mean, I think that's worth mentioning. We'll come back to that later. But yeah, it's Final Destination, not to be confused with The Final Destination,
Yes.
which is Final Destination 4,
Mhm.
and not Final Destination 5.
Yes. Very confusing for no reason.
Yeah, well, they thought it was going to be The Final Destination.
Well, clearly it wasn't.
and then,
so
then it wasn't. And then it's an unfortunate name. In either case,
I just had a sorry, keep going. I had a thought and I have a question that I want to ask you in a minute.
oh, okay. After we get into the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Before anything else, what you think of the movie, Bob?
I know Ben says like this is like a fun movie that like
I had so much fun.
is,
I love this movie.
it is a fun movie. When I tell you I was fucking tweaking the whole time, this movie freaked me out, Ben.
Oh, I know.
I don't know what it was about this film, but I was actually losing my marbles.
I know exactly what it was. Atmospheric films get you every time, like
Yeah.
more so than jump scare films, and this is a very like foreboding movie. It's definitely the most effective for the franchise as far as that goes. So you were just super tense throughout the movie.
Yeah.
I can always tell when Bob has like not necessarily a bad time, but I can tell when you're really stressed because when we finish the movie, you get really grumpy,
Yeah.
and he yelled at
Because
me
it puts me in a bad mood.
afterwards, and I was like, "Yep, did what it was supposed to."
Because like I'm not angry. I mean, I am a little angry. This movie is very good, but I did not have a good time.
But you liked it,
But I liked it.
kind of like Silence of the Lambs,
Yes, very similar.
which we covered last week. So
Yeah,
kind of same experience
but
there.
that's out by now, I think.
Yeah, it is.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm trying to like. We record these in such weird order sometimes that I have to keep track of how things happen.
In either case, glad you liked it. I would have been disappointed if you didn't.
Oh yeah, I know you would have.
With that being said, I guess I'll do a brief like little rundown
Yeah.
of like the premise of the film because interestingly enough, I know you didn't really know anything about this going
No, I
in,
didn't know anything other than people die horribly.
which was shocking.
It was pretty crazy.
And then we'll get into actual spoilers for the film. I will say, as always, we recommend you go watch this film blind. It
Yeah.
makes for a much cooler experience.
Oh, for sure.
Bob, you can attest. You knew absolutely nothing.
No, I didn't know anything.
Which, again, still shocked by.
It was very cool.
So, spoilers ahead. But the general premise of this is that this guy, his name's Alex, I believe.
You got it right.
Yeah. You can tell I like this movie.
So true.
I know the main character's name. Alex Browning.
Wow.
No, his last name.
That is crazy.
Alex basically sees the way he's supposed to die, and he freaks out, and he avoids it. And he actually freaks out so bad that he gets a couple of other people to avoid dying in the same accident. And afterwards, bad things start to happen, because maybe death is still coming for them. As my, description, maybe death will have his due.
Yeah.
That
Makes
sounds really
more
cool.
sense now.
It is really cool. I like it a lot. We're going to get into spoilers now, like actual spoilers. So, do you want to ask your question first, or should I,
Oh,
start?
well, my question is about the end of the movie.
Okay,
So
we'll
we'll
deal
save
with
that
that
for
at
later.
the end. Yeah, okay. So right off the bat, I think the thing we need to start off with, which I tried to avoid a second ago, is by saying that kind of the thing that Final Destination franchises are known for is whatever their big accident is at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
The setup for a lot of these films is kind of the same, where
Mhm.
it's like character avoids their death, and then death, spoilers here, guys, death kind of comes to collect and will slowly pick off all the characters. And in this one, it's a plane explosion.
Yeah.
That's why the working title of the film was named Flight 180. That's
Mhm.
the name of the plane they were supposed to be on, right? The flight number of the plane they were supposed to be on. They were going to Paris. And there's just like a bunch of Flight 180 kind of Easter eggs
Yeah, at the beginning of the movie.
hidden throughout the movie. And what I think is super interesting, and I mentioned this to Bob a bunch, is that this movie came out pre-9/11.
Yeah.
So it's just like a wild thing to see a horror movie that's themed around like plane-related travel accidents
Oh, yeah.
so close to 9/11, because this film wouldn't have been produced
After
afterwards,
that.
like a year later, but more importantly, the way like characters respond to a
Mhm.
plane blowing up and then a character freaking out about the plane blowing up before it does, it's just very different.
Yeah, and there's and also seeing the airport. Like, there's no hardcore TSA. There's no
TSA didn't really exist before 9/11.
Yeah, it's just very interesting to see that
so
portrayed.
I think that's really cool. Also, I want to mention it here because we're also talking about like time periods this came out. The film came out in 2000. Certain movies didn't come out until 2001, and there's some funny named characters.
I mean, we could just say it.
Yeah.
The FBI agents' names are Ween and Shrek. Dude's name is Shrek. Shrek hadn't come out yet. In the whole movie, I'm making Shrek jokes. And it just doesn't land. It just doesn't work because this came out before that. Bro just has an unfortunate name now.
It's really great in hindsight, though.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's so good.
With that being said, big accident in this is the plane crash. I say crash. It explodes midair.
Yeah.
Alex gets off the flight, and during his freak out, he basically forces a couple people off the flight as well. There's his friend Todd, the teacher, Miss...
I know what it is.
Is it Deering?
Nope.
What is it?
Luton.
Oh, Luden. Miss Luden. There's Terry,
Yep.
and... Oh my god. How can I not remember his name?
No way you don't know his name, dog.
There's Billy,
Yep.
and
Then
then
who's the other one?
Billy's always calling him a dick.
Billy is always calling him a dick. It's Carter.
Yeah, it is Carter. Carter, who's dating Terry. And then Clear. The Crystal Clear.
You kept making that joke during the film.
I think it's very funny. They all get off the plane. And so eventually, kind of, we have this long unfolding kind of investigative storyline going. But the reveal, and I'm sorry that this is a spoiler, but I kind of need to do it to talk about this movie, is that death is essentially still coming after the people who avoided this plane crash.
Yeah.
Death has essentially a design, and the idea is these people were supposed to die in the plane crash. Alex prevented them from doing so, but they still need to die to set like everything right. So essentially the embodiment of death, which we don't really see, it's like a metaphysical force, kind of comes through and arranges Rube Goldberg style accidents that kill off the characters
Some
one by
absolutely ludicrous, insane deaths in this film.
Now, honestly, I think that's a really cool idea.
Oh, it's sweet.
I can totally see how this evolved as like an X-Files
Oh, yeah.
episode. I mean, we already mentioned Ween and Shrek, who are two FBI agents, and it's very clear they're supposed to be. Is it Mulder and Scully?
Yep.
From X-Files.
Mm-hmm.
They're both dudes, but they kind of fill that same investigative role that those characters would fill in the X-Files. I almost wish they were like a man and a woman, but then it would have been, I think, too close.
See, you keep saying that, but I don't think it would have been a problem. I think it would have been totally fine.
It would have been cool, but I think the writers and directors wanted to distance themselves from that
I mean, sure.
because they'd worked on that.
It makes sense.
But yeah, it just, a lot of it feels like an X-Files episode with all like the
yeah.
trying to figure out what's happening to them. I mean, not to get too spoilery, but like the first character, the die that was on the plane crash, doesn't happen till like 40 minutes in.
It's a while, yeah.
And it takes like a couple more deaths for Alex to figure out like, oh,
What's going on?
we're dying because we survived this plane crash.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the big thing for me, and I just wanted to bring this up because we're talking about like the fact that it was an X-Files script and was sort of converted into a movie script, is if this were an X-Files episode, it would focus more on the FBI, like the
FBI
investigated part of it,
agents.
and they're in the FBI and stuff. This movie takes a different approach, and I think that's where it differentiates itself from something like the X-Files.
You got there.
I got there eventually. Because, like, a lot of the movie is Alex figuring stuff out and, like, talking and, like, trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, the main characters in this film are the people who survived the accident,
Yeah.
which I think is what makes the movie so effective.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think this would have been as great of a story if we followed the FBI agents.
Then it feels too true crimey, I think.
But, you know, again, it has all those tells, like the investigative aspects. That's what I'm trying to get at. But also, the idea that death is kind of a force is very supernatural light
Oh, for sure.
in a way that the X-Files tends to be. I don't know if you've ever watched episodes
I've
of the
seen some
X-Files.
episodes. It scared me a lot.
It tends to be like pretty light on supernatural elements,
Mhm.
more scientific-y, and having death be like an unseen force is very, I think, in the vein of that show.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes it so cool, because a lot of the deaths are absolutely fucking ludicrous insane, but they don't feel forced. You know what I mean? Like, it all looks like accident stuff, and it all makes sense as it unfolds what's happening. And like, a lot of them you can kind of tell what's going to happen before it happens, but it doesn't feel like supernatural.
Yeah, death being an unseen killer in this movie is probably my favorite part of the Final Destination franchise.
It's cool.
Because essentially what this film is it's like a late stage slasher movie, but without the slasher being a physical character.
Yeah.
So instead of having like over the top kills done by a dude, you have over the top kills that are just elaborate deaths that you still get the same setup for. Like, you can guess what's going to happen before it happens, and like if you've seen the film before, you can really spot all the clues right away. And I think that's just super, super cool.
It is really cool.
And I mean, I think you can probably see how in future installments you can bring that to ludicrous levels. Like,
Oh, for sure.
just trying to top the deaths over and over and over again. What I will say though for this first film is they're all pretty realistic
Yeah.
in this movie. The death of one character in particular, a teacher will say, Mrs. Luden, I'm just going to say it, is particularly egregious for being
It's
like
insane.
so many steps
I was
involved.
about to say, there are multiple steps.
But I think it's a really cool scene because it shows like how much death can manipulate to get the final results he wants.
Yeah, but I also think that, like,
And also like how that still looks like just an accident to all the other characters.
I was about to say, I think the reason that one is so elaborate and is so cool is because it really shows how, like, thorough death is going to be, considering in that scene, there is someone trying to intervene and trying to stop it from happening, and death is like, fuck you, you're not stopping me this time. And that's really what, like, I don't know, pushes the terror for me for this film. Like, it really, really pushed the characters to their limits.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think the reason all this is effective is because of tension building.
Yeah.
Like, this film, I think, perfectly captures this idea of anxiety and deja vu. Like, the first 10, 15 minutes before the plane crash sequence are just, like, subtly Alex freaking out because he's getting all these weird premonitions. Like, things are weirdly freaking him out. And that's probably the most stressed I've seen you in a long time.
Yeah. It
Just-
got me good.
Before they even get on the plane, you were just tweaking. And the whole film does that with all these like hints at like what's going to happen to the characters because you can see it coming. There's just so much tension building, and because this film doesn't do like jump scares and stuff, I think it really keeps you on the edge of your seat for most of the movie.
Yeah, I also think that the build up to the plane crash and everything is so good, but watching the plane crash happen like completely tipped me over the edge of this film. Like that is such a high to start the film with that like I honestly never came down.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It freaked me the fuck out.
And that's where I want to kind of go, hey guys, the kills in this movie, they're pretty graphic at times,
Brutal.
but they look absolutely amazing. Sometimes they're fairly shocking and out of nowhere. One of the characters just gets completely blindsided.
Yep.
Like their death is just out of nowhere, some might say. And while you get clues, like we get to see Alex's premonitions as he gets them, it's sometimes hard as the audience to put those together. And so I think it's just really cool that we get these really, really great looking deaths, but we don't always expect them, even though we're being like spoon-fed stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I
I think that's what makes it so effective is the idea that you know something is going to happen.
Oh,
but
you know.
can't be completely certain every time.
You know all these characters are going to die.
Yeah.
I think probably one of my favorites is Billy, just because it's great.
I don't know. Terry was really good.
And yeah, Terry's also like the best setup, I think. Outside of that, I do want to bring up, for clues, this film does have kind of a theme song. It's Rocky Mountain High, which is used because the singer of that song died in a plane crash.
Makes sense.
Kind of cool.
It is cool.
I love that as like Death being a troll. And it's like he's specifically manipulating stuff to have Rocky Mountain High play whenever he's coming after these characters.
It's hilarious.
Which I think really sets up this idea that Death in this universe is really vindictive.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's very pissed off that Alex has fucked up his plans and is getting revenge on the characters. Which is why I think all their deaths are so brutal.
Yeah.
Like objectively, the plane crash might have been the nicer way to go out.
I don't know, man.
Because the plane crash was bad, but you didn't know it was happening before it happened.
Sure.
And, like, all the characters have this sense of, like, oh, shit, we're going to die now. And it's just, not only do they die brutally, but they're fearing their own mortality.
It's more of suffering than anything.
Yeah, it's very vindictive. And I think that, again, is really cool because it gives characterization to this unseen force of nature that exists in this film. But yeah, all the premonition stuff is really cool.
It's really good. It's really well done.
Especially, like, you'll get subtle ones sometimes that are hard to catch. Like, there's a random lightning premonition at the beginning of the film.
Yep.
Or, I don't know if you caught this one. Carter punches Billy in the face and splits his lip.
Yep.
There's tons of little great stuff that are hard to catch if you're not paying a lot of attention. And it shows a lot of attention to detail for this movie that I can really, really appreciate.
Yeah, especially because, like, when you're looking at a film like this that is basically invoking the idea of a late-stage slasher, none of that stuff needs to be there for it to work. You know what I mean? Like, that's just icing on top of the cake.
Yeah. All that
Because-
tight writing and stuff.
Yeah, because you don't need it because the kills are so over-the-top and insane in and of themselves. You could watch this and still probably have a good time without nitpicking all the stuff that we enjoyed because we're analyzing this critically.
Yeah, and I mean, that's definitely how the later films in the franchise get, with
Yeah.
like more just, oh, we're here for the spectacle of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this film's really cool because it's just, the writing's so great. And also, just the cinematography. Like, there's a ton of stuff where they'll set stuff up in the background or you see things happening in the background that are
Yup.
just really, really cool. My favorite is probably the plane explosion scene. We do get to see that in the background, like when it's
Mhm.
exploding in the air. And just the effect it has on the rest of the characters
Oh,
is
it's so good because the only one looking at the window is what, Billy?
yeah.
And he's like pointing and like looking at them, telling them to turn around.
And also, like, there's a bunch of like little clues you'll get from the corner of the camera about like what's going to happen to a character, which is really great.
Or just like there will be stuff that is like part of the set that sets up what's going to happen to a character.
Yeah, all the background stuff is great. In one scene, Billy almost gets hit by a car
Yep.
and his bike falls over. And in the background of a shot, when all the other characters are talking, you could see Billy like talking to the driver of this car, picking his bike up. And it's just, that takes so much attention to detail
Mhm.
from like a writing and directing standpoint.
Yeah.
I got to give props to Wong, because this is his first like feature film directorial
it's-
debut.
It's tight.
And it's tight. And I think that's some stuff that comes over from working on TV shows,
Mhm.
which tend to have, especially good TV shows, very tight like background stuff.
Because you have to, because you're trying to invest someone into long form content. And so to make them want to come back, you have to set stuff up.
But it's really cool to see in a movie.
Yeah.
And then they also have like a bunch of crane shots that are really good.
Yeah.
And, I think all the scenery is really nice. I like a lot of stuff about this movie.
I
if you
do
couldn't
too.
tell.
I think it's really, really cool. For real.
Next big thing I want to mention is I think all the characters are really good. Like, people shockingly have a lot of depth
Yeah.
for, again, what functionally in some ways feels like a late stage slasher film.
That's fair.
Like-
it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Everyone feels fairly well developed. Like, I'm not going to say every character is not a caricature, because some characters are just ludicrous. Like, Billy is so funny.
Billy, but he's like funny in the best way because he's just stupid.
That man is a golden retriever.
He is, but it's like, it's such an enjoyable thing to have in this movie.
But like 5 seconds of having him on screen because of how it's written and how that character is performed, I know exactly who that is.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like for a lot of the people in this film. You can tell like Clear's the weird like art kid. Alex is kind of just our normal bro. Terry's the girlfriend that has a shitty boyfriend.
Carter's a dick,
Carter's a dick.
which Billy reminds us of
So many
constantly.
times. It's like
It's hilarious.
every time it gets funnier because it's basically his catchphrase.
It is. It's really good.
And, all of that is just so amazing. And I think every character really does sell themselves. The actor who plays Alex, what was his name again?
It's Devon Sawa.
Is it Devon Sawa? Yeah. I think does a really great job playing
I think-
someone
His performance is the best.
losing his mind.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think him and Clear do the best performance out of all the main characters.
Yeah.
But what I do want to bring up is Tony Todd's in this movie.
Tony Todd is in this movie.
He basically has a cameo as like a mortician.
Yeah.
Or coroner, I guess, technically. And he gives like a monologue. That's kind of the exposition dump for this film. He talks about like death's design and how Alex escaped death and stuff like that. And it's really foreboding and stuff. I want to bring it up because you had some thoughts about it.
I did.
So we can talk about that right here. But before we say anything, I do want to point out that Tony Todd sells that performance.
Tony Todd's really good.
It is straight up one of my favorite Tony Todd scenes of all time. Don't get me wrong, Candyman's great. But for just a small role in this film, it's really, really good.
It is really good.
And I don't think it would have been as great if we had a different actor. So
Totally
I do want to
fair.
point that out. But what were your concerns with that?
I don't know if I like the scene. Just like I like the performance of Tony Todd. I like the idea, but it feels too direct in a film that so far had been super ambiguous and sort of letting you piece it together yourself as the characters piece it together. To have someone come on screen and just directly tell you what is going on feels too forced. Like there's something about it that doesn't fit the vibe of the rest of the film in the right way for me. You know what I mean?
That's fair. I think the thing, though, is that scene's supposed to be the turning point in the movie because it is like an hour in, and this is an hour, 30-minute long movie, and they really do need like a specific scene to have the characters go from, okay, maybe it's just weird happenstance to there's a plan.
But here's my thing. My idea changes if you look at it in a different way than the way I interpreted when I first witnessed it. That's not the real coroner. That's Death. And he's fucking with Alex.
Yeah.
And that is an incredible scene.
So yeah,
That makes me feel so much better about that situation.
there's, I think, essentially two ways to read Tony Todd's character, and both of them are, I think personally, amazing. Either he's a real coroner,
Yeah.
who has some weird knowledge about what's going on,
Yep.
because he definitely seems like he's in the know.
Yeah. Well, he's a coroner. He deals with death all the time.
Right. So it seems like he's kind of the person who knows stuff, and if he's not in the know is just being
Just being a creep.
a creep. But it makes so much sense if he's Death,
Yeah.
because his final parting line is "See you soon,"
Yep.
which is not only like a "I'm gonna get you," but also he's the coroner for the place where all these people live, so like
Yes.
they're gonna come to him.
No, I think the interpretation that Tony Todd is the embodiment of death in that scene makes that scene work so much better. And
Oh,
it makes a lot of sense.
It's great.
Because it also resolves my other gripe of, why the fuck would the coroner not just throw them out? They're breaking in at like fucking 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, why is he being a creep and not just telling them to get the hell out and calling the cops?
Well, he's a coroner. Sometimes they're weird people.
Well, I mean, Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, see?
Weird guy.
Well, he was a Nazi.
Well,
There were
weird-
some other issues.
Weird guy.
I'm not saying all coroners are Nazis, but he was
He was a Nazi.
he was a Nazi.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think both those reads are really cool because in one, he's just like, oh, creepy, weird coroner, which is like a stereotype for movies.
Oh, yeah.
And then once you watch the film, you get to go, oh no, maybe he was
Death.
Death.
Which gives Death a physical form, which I think actually is totally fine.
And it's Tony Todd.
And it's Tony Todd, which is sweet.
Sweet, yes. Love that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think once I made that realization, that scene was completely fixed for me. I think it's actually pretty great.
And I think it makes rewatch really cool, which is kind of the next point I want to make. Rewatch of this film, great. Because all that background stuff, all those little Easter eggs that are really easy to miss the first time around, especially all the stuff that happens before the flight and you know it's going to happen, you get to catch on the second watch. And I think that's amazing. I think films like that are always great because you can watch them multiple times and still find fun stuff to see next time. We've watched a couple films like that on the podcast where it's like, oh, I can rewatch this a bunch and just have a great time every single time. Last film we watched like that, Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, yeah.
It's great on rewatch. I mean, I've seen that film a bajillion times. It's not the most fun thing for me anymore, but I still enjoy it because I see new things every time. And I feel like this film's pretty solid in that regard, too.
I mean, the big one for me was when I rewatched The Exorcist in theaters. That movie was fucking crazy.
That's just a well-done movie.
That's just a great movie, but I got a lot more out of it the second time because I wasn't sitting there getting freaked out by everything.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the hallmark of like well-written movies and well-shot movies. So I think the fact that this movie falls into that same kind of category is cool to see.
It's cool to see because it's unexpected of a film like this.
Yeah, you do see the idea of this film and you're like, oh, it's going to be schlocky and just bad.
But it's not.
It's shockingly not. I can see why critics gave it a poor rating.
I can too, but I think I'm on the opposite end of that critic spectrum where like the parts that make a critic not like this film make me like it more.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I don't think it's a very like high-level art piece. It's not very complicated at all.
No.
Like it's very obvious what's happening. It's very ham-fisted in a lot of ways, but I think as you're able to kind of go into the film and withhold your sense of disbelief in the way that I think a lot of horror fans are trained to do, it's great.
Yeah.
I think that's why it has such high user reviews to not great critical reviews.
Yeah. Because, I'm going to be honest, critically, there's not a lot going on.
No, it's kind of just a nothing kind of popcorn flick.
But that's fun.
Yeah.
So, I had a good time.
It's fun. The kills are great. Everything looks really cool. It's got this nice, grimy, dark aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
Looks like an X-Files episode.
It also reeks of the year 2000.
Oh,
And
it's so
2000.
2000.
Atrocious
I
sometimes.
love it.
It reminds me of my childhood.
Late 90s, early 2000s. Everyone's got the haircut. I mean, even the actor choice in this.
Yeah.
Heaven Sall was such like an early 2000s actor. I mean, you haven't seen him in any other stuff, but like he's very early 2000s. The actor who plays Billy is in like all the American Pie stuff. Oh, it's so early 2000s. Now then, do you have anything else about like just the general stuff in the movie, or do you want to talk about the ending now?
Oh, we can talk about the ending.
Because should we have a spoiler section for the ending?
We've already been yapping about everything else. So if you want to, but I don't think we need it. We've already spoiled everything else. We've talked about basically every death.
Let's put one in just in case.
Hello everybody, this is Future Bob coming at you to let you know that if you do not want any major spoilers about the end of this film, to please skip to 52 minutes and 8 seconds immediately. Once again, that's 52 minutes and 8 seconds immediately for no major spoilers about the end of this movie.
All right, so welcome back if you're still here, but if you left, I'm sorry. We're going to talk about the ending now, so mega spoilers because I'm actually going to get in depth with it, unlike some of the other endings to this film. Or other kills in this film, not other endings. I guess they were other endings for those characters. In either case, kind of how this film ends is we are going down the list of characters in the order they were supposed to die on the plane, and we get down to kind of the final two. It's Clear and our main character, Alex. So, main character, female lead. Alex is convinced he's going to die first because he died first in his premonition, but he remembers, after he's far away from Clear, that, hey, I never moved seats because he moved seats in his premonition. So that means he would have died second. So he rushes over to Clear and he essentially saves her from dying, but gets like shocked in the kind of ensuing chaos. And it's implied he dies,
Yeah.
like his heart stops and everything, because we hear Shrek yell that. Or it could have been Ween.
Could have been one of them.
Shrek or Ween yelling that. And then we jump to 6 months later with Clear, Alex, and Carter in Paris, kind of celebrating the fact that they survived and remembering all their friends. Only to have something target Alex again.
Yep.
Because he was never technically saved from death, and then skip back to Carter and kill him. I think it's an interesting ending.
Yeah. No, I think it is interesting for sure.
I think that little fake out of not only, oh, Alex died, but then the transition to like 6 months later and they're fine,
Yep.
except, oh, wait,
They're not.
it wasn't Alex's turn yet, is really, really cool. And I just really like the whole jump cut at the end from like, oh, we saved Alex, and then boom, Carter dies. I think that's a great way to end the film.
I also think it's a great way to end the film because Carter fucking sucks.
Carter sucks.
Carter sucks, and I was sad that he didn't die, and I'm glad that he did die by the end of the movie.
Although you could tell he had a bit of a redemption arc, and
Yep.
the fact that he dies immediately after is very funny. But one of the big reasons I wanted to talk about this ending sequence is because I think the setup on that final kill for Carter is just really, really great.
It's pretty good.
Not only are they in France, which is in of itself kind of its own bad sign,
Yeah.
but there's just so many great little premonitions that we've been programmed with throughout the movie that come
Mhm.
up. For instance, there's a street performer that starts singing Rocky Mountain High in
Yep.
French, which is really funny. But my favorite is the thing that kills Carter in the end is a sign for a restaurant. It's like Mono 81 or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the first time we see the sign, we see it backwards. And backwards, it's 180.
Oh my god. I didn't even catch that.
Like the first shot of them sitting at this restaurant is you see the 180 and then it zooms down from a crane shot. And it's
that's
just such
fucking awesome.
a great setup that the last kill in the movie is a swinging 180 sign. In fact, it hits Carter on the backstroke, so it
Yeah.
is 180 when it hits him.
Because it tries to hit Alex on the way in. Carter saves him. He gets up. Sign comes back and kills him.
Yeah. It's also just a great setup for this implication that there's no way to escape death, because up
Yeah.
until that point, the characters think they can actually escape. Like they thought, okay, it ends on Alex. If
And
we
he-
save him,
Then it's over.
that's it. We have the rest of our lives. And so giving that final, like, closing, oh, this is hopeless, I think really matches the tone of this film
Oh, yeah.
and is, I think, really great. It's a cool way to end this film that also sets up future sequels.
That's what I wanted to ask about. They are alive at the end of this movie.
Yes.
Two of them are. Can I ask, are they the main characters of the second movie?
Do you want me to tell you?
Kinda?
I mean, I can tell you if you want.
I mean, I'm just curious because, like, the implication here being that they would be because they're still kicking, but I don't know. So I'm asking.
So I'm going to tell you because you're asking.
Sure.
No.
Oh, good.
Kind of how this franchise works is, I think I already talked about this. It's a different accident in every movie. And
Yeah.
it's kind of that same setup of one character sees the accident, and then it's anyone who survives that accident becomes our new cast for the film.
Okay. Cool.
Which I think is really just a nice concept because you can take it and then transplant it.
Do
Anywhere.
anything you want with it, yeah.
And the films are linked in certain ways. We'll get into that as we get to the movies because
That's cool.
different films have different links connecting them. But yeah, I think it's a good franchise setup, this ending. Did you like it?
Yeah, no, I thought it was cool.
Thought it was cool.
I just didn't know. That's the question I wanted to ask about at the beginning about the ending was, does Devon Sawa return in the next one because he survived this one technically?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. And, that's a possibility. But no, they're not the main characters of the next film.
I actually like that. I'm totally cool with it,
It's a
but
new
I was just
cast,
curious.
and that's kind of cool because
Yeah.
new characters, new circumstance, stuff like that. It would also be ludicrous if there was like another big accident and
They survived again.
Devon Sawa was like the heart of it once more, especially because they made it like
6 months.
6-7 months at this point, which is
Yeah. It's a long time.
pretty decent, all things
I mean,
considered.
it's 39 days from the time of the accident before the first death, I think is the time frame.
Yeah, but we're not sure how much time passes between the first death and Alex saving Clear. Could have been like a week or two.
True.
But yeah, it's definitely a couple months. More than 6.
Well, it's just wild that, like, it takes so long.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Again, death's torturing them with the suspense. Like they thought they were safe.
Yep.
Anything else you want to say about the ending?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
Then before we move on, I do want to mention there's an alternate ending to this film.
Oh shit.
I think they might have actually shot it before this one. And it's one of those times where I think I like that ending better.
Damn.
The ending we got, I think, really sets up this franchise really well. I think it's really, really good. But the alternate ending to this film, which is on the Blu-rays and stuff, I think is a much stronger ending for this movie as a standalone.
Oh, okay.
To the point where I like to be like, okay, there's the standalone universe and the franchise universe, and you can kind of do your headcanon for each. But kind of a through line for this film, and I think they cut some of the stuff, but Clear and Alex have like a budding relationship.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can tell, but they're getting like much closer as the film goes on.
Well, yeah.
Part of it's suspension bridge effect, but pretty classic romance stuff. The original ending is actually Alex saves Clear, he dies, and Clear and Carter survive and are fine.
Really?
Yeah, and we actually end on them visiting Alex's grave like a year later.
Oh.
Clear has a baby.
Whoa.
And it's kind of this whole representation of like new life birthed from death. I think it's really cool. So it's a fun way to end this film if it's its own standalone, because they have to be like, we're the only two
They have to
people that
wrap it up.
understand.
Yeah.
And it's just this nice little bow tied on top, I think, of just like, it's all solved. Because like, Alex is dead. What's the FBI going to do now?
Yeah, true. I think you're probably right. I think that ending is a lot stronger if it is its own standalone movie.
Yeah, it's hard to set up a franchise then,
Yeah.
because then it's like, okay, death only comes for you like one time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's a little bit more thematic for the themes of this movie in a way I really, really like.
Fair.
I don't know. I'll have to show it to you when we're done doing the podcast. In either case, I guess we're going to go back to the regular part of the show for our
Yeah, sure.
quick recommendations. All right. Welcome back, if you're back. Hello, if you're still here.
Hello.
You want to start with recommendations?
If you like early 2000s films, reeks of the year 2000, but I think that's super cool.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of like weird cultural stuff that you don't see in movies nowadays, especially considering the airport stuff with 9/11 happening right after this film.
Oh
comes
my
out.
God, yeah.
It's so cool. The music and like the cinematography even it all stands out as early 2000s, but I like it, so
Well,
it's fun.
You love the early 2000s.
I do. I was a child back then. I didn't want to. Never mind.
He was happy.
Yeah, I was happy. Let's put it that way.
I was like, you can't say that.
If you like Devon Sawa, fantastic performance from this guy in this movie. Definitely like a standout performance from him, and I think he's really, really good.
By the way, he's going to be at the convention.
Yeah,
By the
that's
way,
why
I
we're
thought I
watching
should
this film
mention
for
it.
convention prep. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, man. Now I'm more excited. I'm really excited to go. If you like slashers, like late stage slashers from the 80s and stuff, this is that, except there is no physical killer. And I think that's pretty fucking cool. So if you like that as a concept or think it's a cool idea, check it out. And, you know, of course, it being a late stage slasher means you get all of the deaths and the ludicrous things that you get from that. So if you're a fan of that as well, look into it. It's really cool. That's it.
Okay. Right off the bat, if you're a fan of anyone associated with this film, I think everyone does a pretty good job. Whether you're a fan of, like, the director,
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty famous now, but also, like, any of the actors. Bob said Devon Sawa, but I think everyone does a pretty great job. Tony Todd's in this movie.
True.
Lots of relatively well-known people now, actually. So if you like any of them and you haven't seen it, I do think it is worth checking out. If you are a fan of horror, I think this is a lot of fun. If you have gotten into horror enough to appreciate just kind of schlocky films,
Yeah.
this isn't like a schlocky film.
No.
It's much
But
better than
it
that.
feels like one.
But it feels like the one. You get all the kind of ludicrous, over-the-top kills that you expect in a late-stage slasher, while still being very well written and directed and stuff like that. And I think that's really nice to see. Usually by the time we get into the ludicrous, it is no longer very good.
I don't know, man. When that chair came down, I lost my shit. That chair got me good.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You did not need to do that.
So yeah, if you like kills and stuff, I think this is a great franchise for the kills. In fact, that's what it's probably known for the most. But I think my last recommendation is going to kind of be a two-parter here. A, like Bob said, if you're a fan of stuff from the early 2000s, late 90s, this film is just steeped in that. It feels a lot like stuff coming out from that time period. So like Scream, or I Know What You Did Last Summer,
Yeah.
or Urban Legend.
Yeah.
Like it's got that same feel, while being a very different film tonally.
Mhm.
This is closer to something like Saw than it is like one of those meta teen slasher films, and that's kind of cool. But I think that's because this film is also like some early 2000s TV shows. I mean, it feels like X-Files, but it also feels like early episodes of Supernatural.
Yeah. Oh my God. Even the car.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. That's funny.
Plus, it's filmed in Canada, which that stuff was done in too. So, if you're a fan of any of those properties, I think this is a nice one to check out. That being said, you want to rate it?
Okay. I'm in a weird spot because I like this movie.
Oh, I love this movie.
I like this movie a lot. But is it a cinematic masterpiece?
No,
I don't think so.
it is not.
But did I like it a lot? Yes. So okay. Here's I'm gonna try and explain myself without sounding like a fucking crazy person right now. What did it try to achieve? A movie about death, coming back and killing people. That's pretty cool in and of itself. Cool concept.
What did it try to achieve? A feature-length X-Files episode.
Yes. Did it achieve that? Yes.
Oh, 100%.
100%. So that's like a 3 minimum. And then they went over the top. They went crazy. The kills are awesome. There's lots of really cool small stuff. There's lots of attention to detail. But I don't think I could give it a 5, even though I kind of really want to. Because I think it has too much of that early 2000s like B-movie like schlockiness. But
Yeah.
I like that stuff.
I mean, it's a popcorn flick. It's not like a really impressive critical film, which is kind of what we try to reserve 5s for.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I don't want to give it that, because I think it might be deserving of it, because there's too much attention to detail and like deeper stuff that can be picked apart on rewatch for me to not want to give it a 5. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I could sit down and watch this in the next couple days and still have a blast, and I think that makes me give it a 5.
Are you giving it a 5?
I think so.
Ooh. Now I'm in a weird spot because I was gonna give it a 4.5.
That's what I was gonna do, but I think I've talked myself into it.
If you're gonna give it a 5, I'm gonna give this a little cheat and also give it a 5 because I just really like this movie.
But I think it deserves it.
Because like it's shockingly more well done than you'd think. But also, if you are the intended audience for this film,
Oh yeah.
it's everything you could want.
It's a horror movie for horror fans, and we happen to be horror fans. Shocker, I know. So it was really great.
And I think you said this on the Silence of the Lambs episode, so the actual board episode last week. The sign of a great movie is you have a bad time, but you really liked it.
Yeah.
And you had a bad time.
I had
but
an
you really
awful
liked
time.
this one.
It was a truly horrific experience,
I
but
think-
I'm now smiling about
I
it.
think you were
talking to
more
you.
upset about this film than you were Silence of the Lambs.
Well, because Silence of the Lambs, like, bad things happen. It's all vibes. This movie, bad things happen, and it's not all vibes. There are horrible things on screen.
So yeah, I'll go with a 5 too. You talked me into it.
I'm glad.
I kind of wanted to give it a 5, but I felt bad about it.
That's
but
how I felt.
you gave it a 5, and I was like, oh, now I'm in the clear. Now there's no shame because we both did it.
There was no shame to begin with. It's our opinion, Ben.
We can have bad opinions. That's basically what this podcast is.
One really bad opinion.
With that being said, I guess we're gonna go to the outtakes now.
Yeah.
I think we got some good ones this episode.
We will see what makes it into the episode or what I'm too ashamed to put in the edit.
All of it should go.
That's your opinion.
Bad opinions. All right, we'll be back in a second, guys.
We'll see you guys in a minute.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the outtake section for this episode of Beware the Board. I hope you're enjoying our review of Final Destination so far. I really like this movie. I think it's super duper fun and very, very early 2000s, which is nostalgic for me. But without further ado, let's get into the outtakes. This first clip is me realizing Ben and I might not be friends, Ben telling me a fun fact, and also me realizing something very interesting about this movie.
Always poop before your flight.
What the fuck is it? What? They're joint shitting.
Yeah, they're friends.
Ben, I've never shit like this with you.
Well, you've never been in a stall together like that.
You're right.
Okay, this was the fun fact I was going to tell you. Do you know this song?
No.
So this is Rocky Mountain High by
Yeah.
John Denver.
Okay, the dude that did Country Roads.
Yeah, very famously died in a plane crash.
Oh, well, that's what he just said. Is this plane gonna crash? Is that the plot of this movie? What the fuck?
This next clip is the beginning of this film, freaking me out.
Why is bro geeking? He is like tweaking, bro.
Essentially, they're trying to show like it's. I think what they're going for is like really bad
Anxiety?
deja vu, like mixed with anxiety and just a sense of foreboding. Like things are just triggering him. Have you ever had that?
He's triggering me.
Well, they're doing a good job of representing it, but like, have you ever experienced that?
Yes, every day of my life.
Like when you just see things and you're like, "Oh, this means something bad's gonna happen."
Yeah, Ben? Yes. Every fucking day.
I think
Also, this movie is so insanely early 2000s, it kind of
yeah.
hurts.
it's great.
No. Ah.
Did you see the scuff marks on the door?
Yeah, I saw the scuff marks on the door. But I really just didn't like, oh, that baby's ugly.
This next clip is my reaction to the death of Todd and just proves how tense this movie really made me.
Stop. What's going to happen to this guy? Oh, he's shitting again.
Well, it's been 39 days. I'd hope so.
Is the toilet going to explode and kill him? Oh, no. No, stop. Ben, I want you to turn this off. I can't handle this anymore.
Oh, I love it. It's so fun.
How is this fun? I sound like my girlfriend, damn it. This sucks.
Because I'm not tense about it, because I've seen it before. And so I'm just like super excited for the kills.
That's cool, bro. Good for you.
The next films in the series are less tense, so you'll also be excited for the kills. They're really cool. I mean, you saw that plane scene.
It was really good.
It was really good.
It was
Especially when his
good.
face melted.
Well, I was thinking about the horrific scene of the girl getting sucked out the plane window screaming for her life.
I mean, that one was
and
also
then
cool.
quick cutting to someone just getting exploded. And there's blood going
It was
everywhere.
all pretty good.
You know, maybe a little intense. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of freaking out right now.
He has a computer. I don't know why he also has that.
Well, because it's the year 2000. It takes forever to watch porn.
Yeah, but you can get images pretty easily.
They take forever.
Yeah, but it's less obvious than that.
Huh. No. Oh God, no. Ah. I hate this. I fucking hate this. Who are you? Who was that?
No one.
Somebody? Oh, stop, Todd. Stop, Todd. Please, Todd. You only have 1D, bro. You can't be doing this. Oh, he put it down. Oh! If he falls and just like, no. Oh. Don't plug in the radio, you fucking animal. That's hilarious. Oh my God. Not John Denver!
It's Rocky Mountain High.
It's coming for him. Whatever it... Sweet. Whatever is trying to kill this man needs to be stopped. Fucking owl?
Great Horned Owl.
Oh, no, the porn. It's been shredded. Shredder. You don't get...
What?
I was about to say, come on, bro. When I did that... Todd. Whoa, what the fuck? What in the hell? This is some Looney Tunes ass shit. Oh. Not the rubber ducky.
This next clip is our reaction to the death of Terry.
Oh, she's about to die horribly. Oh, God. Wasn't there a bus there a minute ago? Yep. Yep.
There wasn't a bus there. He just saw like a bus shadow.
Yeah, that's... that was rough.
I like it. It's like out of nowhere, but you can catch it beforehand if you pay attention.
Yeah.
This next clip is Ben and I making Shrek jokes during the movie and then making a shocking realization.
Not Shrek. She's calling Shrek on him.
Shrek.
Donkey.
You know what the funniest part of this is?
What?
Shrek hadn't come out yet. It's just an unfortunate like
Are
timing
you
thing.
serious?
Yeah.
When did Shrek come out?
2001.
That's hilarious.
This next clip is our reaction to the death of Miss Luton and the horrible, horrible things that will happen because of it.
Oh. Oh, that's so good. Oh.
I love she hit the record and it skipped back.
Yeah. Oh, but it's got the knives in it. No, you stupid bitch. Oh my god. No. Ah! Oh. That's brutal, dog.
Do you see her door has a dagger on it?
Yeah.
Now, dumbass Alex goes in.
Don't just leave and call somebody.
I'm gonna get my fingerprints on everything.
She's dead, dog. No,
Oh.
don't pull it out. You're a fucking idiot. God, you're so. Oh, and Billy's gonna walk by and see this.
Isn't this a fun movie, Bob? You look like you're losing it.
This is so bad. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the outtakes. Do we have any announcements, Ben?
Well, this was the last convention prep episode.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not going to be releasing any more of these. But 2 weeks from now, I guess, from when this comes out,
Dog, I have no idea.
we are releasing our Halloween Horror Awards episode.
Isn't Halloween on a Wednesday this year?
I think so.
Which means it's exactly 2 weeks from this episode drop. If it's
Sure.
the
You told me it was a Wednesday earlier, so I'm
it
going
is a
to
Wednesday.
go off
It
that.
is a Wednesday because it'll come out this upcoming Wednesday from recording, and then Halloween should be 2 weeks from that Wednesday.
So
right?
it's going to happen.
It's gonna happen
eventually.
2 weeks from yeah.
We're going to do Halloween Horror Awards again this year.
Yeah.
A little behind the cameras. We haven't started yet,
No.
but we are going to do that. It should be fun.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun doing it. I don't know how interesting it is for you guys, but we kind of go over all the films we've covered this year. Bob gave up halfway through the year, but assumedly we were going to try and tell you what our ratings were of all the films again.
I have them all.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's in
So,
my notebook.
We'll actually do that this year. We couldn't the first year because we didn't plan
It's-
it out
It's
well
in the
enough.
notebook that I keep now with all the timestamps for the outtakes.
Sweet.
So I should have everything. I think I have back all the way back to Alien in there, or
Yeah,
maybe
'cause
before Alien.
We started right around Halloween Horror Awards last year, but
yeah.
we'll run down all our ratings again for all the films, and then we kind of give out little recommendations for each category we have, like best actor, best actress, best feature, stuff like that. It's kind of cool. Like if you want to watch any one episode and be like, okay, these are the top films to watch from the podcast, watch that one.
Yeah, and it's also like our year in review, kind of, where we just talk about everything we got done, maybe our plans for next year, kind of what we're looking forward to do.
And we haven't talked about it yet, but I'll mention it to Bob. We might talk about the convention on that episode.
Yeah, that
Probably
too.
a good time to
Because
do
I think
that.
we're recording that the weekend we get back.
Week we get back. And if we watch any movies during that time period in
Oh.
theaters, we could also talk about them on that episode.
Maybe.
Um,
I'm excited about that. We should do that. We need to do that.
So, anyways, look out for that. Otherwise, we're still working on stuff behind the scenes.
There is a thing in the works.
Eventually, the Unholy Trinity will come out.
Oh, well, there's that too.
Bob forgot about it. At this point, it's probably just going to come out for
We're not. Nope. Don't say it.
Earth Day.
Nope. We're not.
Next
Ben,
year.
We're not waiting that long. Dog, we have to get these done.
No, I don't want to wait that long. I just know us.
Well,
We're just-
because also we haven't. Your
we're just
birthday is
really
next
bad
month.
about stuff like that. But we have my birthday next month.
Thanksgiving,
We have Thanksgiving.
Christmas,
We have Christmas. So yeah, probably
and then the New Year's episode.
probably Earth Day next year.
Probably motherfucker Valentine's Day. It's
Probably-
an unending cycle.
Probably Earth Day next year. But with that being said, we're also trying to work on covering series
Yeah.
behind the scenes. We didn't really do a lot of that this year because by
We
the time we recovered
had
from
time.
the burnout from
Convention prep last year.
convention prep last year and Friday the 13th. It was right now.
Yep.
So,
We've recovered completely, and now we're still scrambling to put everything back together.
however, we are talking about covering like series behind the scenes right now. So those will come out when we have free time too. We've been recording like 2-3 episodes every time we record, so we'll get there eventually. With that being said, usual spiel. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Checking us out on any of those podcast more specific platforms. Please give us a quick rating or review. That really helps us out with getting seen by other people on those platforms. We really appreciate that. But if you really want to help us out, you could also suggest us to a friend, maybe warn them of the omen that is Beware the Board.
Good episode, The Omen.
We're kind of spooky.
Kind of spooky. It's spooky season, dog.
Yeah. But if you want to tell your friends about our Bad Opinion podcast, and that's your bad opinion that they should watch it, I think that's really funny.
Are you changing the name of the podcast to the Bad Opinion Podcast?
Well, that's every podcast.
Nah, you're right.
But if you do that, we really appreciate it because that's probably the best way for us to get more viewers. And we like seeing that you guys like this show.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. You want to show support? You can go over to YouTube. Well, not the great for audio only content because it's a video sharing platform. We can see all your likes and subscriptions and stuff like that, and it's probably the easiest way for us to see that. I think you said the RSS is a little bit better now.
They put out an update where they're like, hey, we know that our analytics suck. We are going to make it better. It's slightly better.
But YouTube right now is probably the most accurate for determining like how many listeners we have with subscribers or just view counts on recent episodes. With that being said, YouTube does have a couple cool tools you might appreciate checking out. There is a bell button, which lets you get notified whenever we post something new. So if we're posting something out of order, such as, convention prep stuff, Halloween Horror Awards, or any of the upcoming content we have in the future, like my birthday or, Christmas. That's a good way to know because we don't always mention those before the fact because we forget.
Well, we record these in such weird batches that sometimes it's like, this is going to come out before, we know when we're going to record that.
Yeah.
So we don't know when it's actually going to come out. So it's just like trying to figure it out.
That being said, there's also a search button on YouTube, which lets you search key terms in all our videos. So if you're looking to see if we've covered a specific movie, that's probably the best way to do that. You can search, say, a movie title and see if we've done it because we are in the 170s for episodes now.
We might be close to cresting 200 soon.
Well, in 30 more episodes. But yeah, we're on 172, something like that as of now. With that being said, biggest thing about YouTube is it's one of the two major places to communicate with us at. You can do that in the comment section of a specific video, or you can go over to Twitter at Beware the Board and fly past Bob's DMs. Tell him to get out of there. Get off that plane. It's going to explode.
I hope not. Well, never mind.
You guys should leave 180 messages for Bob.
No, dog. I don't need that many. I don't even check my text messages enough. I think I have time to respond to all the Twitter. Actually, if you do,
What Twitter stuff?
if you DM me on Twitter, I'd appreciate that.
No one DMs Bob on Twitter.
You don't know that.
No, but am I wrong?
I have a personal Twitter.
Well,
They
yeah.
DM me there.
Not on Beware the Board Twitter, though.
There's a few.
So DM him 180 times.
That's fucked up.
I think that's very funny.
It's not, actually. You don't see. You think it's funny because you don't have to deal with it.
Exactly.
Like Ben said, check us out on Twitter at Beware the Board. It's where we post updates about the show, information about the show. Basically, if there's anything you want to know about the show, it goes on our Twitter. On Mondays, I post a spoiler post for that week's worth of episodes, which is a hidden movie cover you can reveal, so you can watch the film before we do. So when we release the episodes, you don't get any spoilers when we vague out stuff. You know what we're talking about. Then on Fridays, or whatever other day an episode goes live, I always post a link to the episode there. So if you ever miss an upload or want to know when something went up, there's always a link on our Twitter. Last thing, we make short form content for the show over on Beware the Board on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts. So if you like short form content and want to support the show, check us out there at Beware the Board on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts. Ben, I think that's it.
You know what they should send you?
What?
A Rickroll, but instead it's Rocky Mountain High.
That song has new meaning now,
I know.
and it's a cursive.
All right, well, we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow for an actual episode.
No. The episode doesn't come until Friday, dog. This is Wednesday.
Thursday at midnight.
But it's not Thursday at midnight because that would be Thursday. It's Friday at midnight. Animal. We'll see you in 2 days.
See you soon.